watching Bruce Sees All.
Hi, and welcome to the Bruce Sees All UFO Research Channel. This is a podcast because there's so much happening right now in the UFO story and news, and new terms are coming up that if you're not following the story, and you have not been following the story the past few months, this year, you're going to be lost. Non-human civilizations potentially evolved from terrestrial animals, adept at stealth and concealment. I said it all the time. Aliens are the masters of disguise. Masters of the skies and masters of disguise, right? So what the government's doing to us, disguising themselves to get us to do things for them, well, the aliens are going to do the exact same thing to them. But now they're here with an interest in our nuclear silos. It's getting serious. So they're talking about crypto aliens, and there's a study that's out at Harvard that claims extraterrestrials from outer space are living among humans. Now that's what I'm saying. And I'm also saying that they're living up there on the moon. So in reality, take it with a grain of salt, whatever you think of these associations. Are they going to bring truth out? Well, of course, there's an interagency battle on the inside of the Vatican. By the way, they're fighting themselves. Did you know that? CIA, FBI, they're fighting to bring out the truth. Who's corrupt? Which ones are good? We probably will never know, or we'll know at a later time, but it's coming out. It's all catching up with them. It's catching up with them. The long-standing fascination with extraterrestrial life has taken, yes, a new turn with a recent study from Harvard University. So this study suggests that alien beings could be living covertly alongside humans on Earth. That would make sense, right? Despite, of course, decades of scientific inquiry into the existence of alien life forms, definitive answers remain elusive. So are we going to get anything concrete as evidence? New paper emerging from Harvard University's Human Flourishing Program delves into the realm of crypto-terrestrial beings, positing that entities often associated with unidentified aerial phenomena, UAPs or UFOs, might be concealed underground on the moon, even integrated into our human society here, and possibly even visiting another being that's living inside of Earth here. Not necessarily human, ancient or not, that came from another realm, other dimensions or not, that were born here and that were washed out in the flood, and only few of them lived, and they continued on stealth amongst human beings. According to the study, these crypto-terrestrials could manifest in various forms. So now we're talking about what we always talk about, the paranormal, the ghosts, entities, family members coming back, reincarnation. This is all going to be debatable for the next 1,000 years, of course. And the human society, us, a primitive human race, we're just going to fight together about it all, disagree about it all. It is something so incredibly beautiful. Human crypto-terrestrials, descendants of an ancient human civilization that once thrived but now exists in a diminished state. Could be possible. Hominid or theropod crypto-terrestrials, which are non-human civilizations, potentially evolved from terrestrial animals that are adept at stealth and concealment. Former extraterrestrial and extraterrestrial crypto-terrestrials beings originating from outside Earth or from the distant future assimilated into our environment. So we could also possibly have entities from the future coming back into our physical world here in the past, which is our present. Yeah. Not easy, not easy to understand. We have magical crypto-terrestrials, entities with mystical attributes akin to folklore, creatures like fairies or nymphs interacting with the human world in non-technological ways. Now, we brought all these up. I think every single thing that I just said here has already been brought up amongst ourselves without us necessarily using these particular terms. Each and every one of us have a different path in life. We go through a different path in life. And some of us, for whatever the reason, really get a chance to interact with the other side. They are here interacting with certain people. I'm interacting with entities on the other side. They are here protecting me for whatever the reason. That's the message I got. And more messages come in all the time, not just about me, but about the world and about what I have to do sometimes, right? So that's where it comes down to. And this is why people think that people are crazy, because it comes down to the little voice in your head, right? Like if you're hearing a little voice in your head, it tells you to jump off the bridge or you're going to do it. So that's primitive response by a human. And that's what humans do. We block things out, we deny things, we're afraid of truth, and even if we don't admit it ourselves, some of us think we're really brave, but we're not. Truth is scary. The unknown is exciting, right? Because we don't know what's out there, but when we get a bit or a lot or even just a part of the truth and we find out what's really going on, well, often the truth is scary. There's also another theory that states the possibility of a non-human society dwelling underground, evolving from terrestrial creatures like intelligent dinosaurs or ape-like hominids. Okay, I'm not there yet, and I keep repeating this about the silly dinosaur theory or whatnot, but, we say it's silly because we just can't imagine, any beings coming from a dinosaur. But yet, a lot of you are telling me that reptilians exist. Wherever you got that information, I don't know, until I see one. So this theory claims that aliens might have traveled from the moon or other places to visit Earth and have hidden themselves amongst us. See, this is what I love. I talked about humans back in the day being a very magical sorcerer, like even witches and goblins or whatnot. I'm sure that's how probably this world started. We're sitting here in the physical world and we're becoming better. I'm trying to imagine us getting better. But then again, maybe I'm starting to think that the ancient civilizations were better and we're the not better advanced civilization. These beings are like earthbound angels, and we're talking about, again, the magical crypto-terrestrials. If they exist, they would be beings that are like earthbound angels. Interesting. Having magical rather than technological relationships with humans, like folklore creatures. Again, we said elves, fairies. The primary weakness of the theory of its perceived oddity, especially for those accustomed to conventional scientific explanations. So now anyone that comes up with an unconventional explanation, I know all about those, because that's probably mostly what I had here as theories, right? If I'm showing something that's completely hidden in my UFO research, if you've not seen the research yet and you're just here new listening to the podcast, welcome. My research shows a lot of the opposite, the complete opposite of what the government and everyone says about the moon. So everyone that has access to speaking on television, and for all the associations, the professionals that are speaking about the moon, are all liars. They are all hired, paid liars, deliberately lying to the people, because that secret that they tried to create, and probably successfully did when they tried to go to the moon, whether they did or not, whether they showed the public or not, it's still ongoing, and they're still trying to hide this. The UFO story is still hidden. They're still hiding stuff from Roswell. For Pete's sakes, they're still hiding stuff from Kennedy's assassination many years after it happened. The CIA is very corrupt. It's being dismantled. It's been several years that it's been being dismantled until, hopefully, I'm hoping they're going to be able to save the CIA, and that they're going to be able to keep it up, and that it will return or resort to returning to being there for the American people as compared to controlling the American people. They got their noses in a whole bunch of foreign countries, and they're doing a lot of stuff. There's the mind controlling that's being done, right? Helm in charge, 20,000 documents the CIA got rid of. Why did they do that? Because they're experimenting and controlling minds. They started off with animals, and then eventually, well, they didn't have enough guinea pigs, humans, test subjects, and now, well, and that's aside from, listen, there's a lot of military that volunteered for these programs, a lot, right? So that's mind-controlled warfare. A lot of what I'm saying is going to be science fiction or bogus for most of you, but I assure you it's happening right now. So misinformation and disinformation can be deadly. They needed the internet as a tool to attract us to invest everything that we do in the internet. So if you don't have a cell phone and you don't hang out on chats and feeds and you don't comment or you're not on YouTube, well, the government's not able to know what you're doing. But in reality, maybe you donated a little bit of money to a pet association or pet foundation for animals, the safety of animals or whales or whatever. And through the internet and your credit card, well, you sent that information out there, and then the government has you by the balls. Whether you got balls or not, they're watching you, and that's what they're doing. And misinformation and disinformation. So you all know when a little bit of information comes out, somebody posts a video. Alex did it the other day. Me throwing water, drinkable water, in the rain on a U-Haul and pretending to light it up. Got thousands of views, over 10,000 views in a couple of hours. So the government can do the same thing. They can send out a news broadcast and breaking news and headlines, and then they do this in other countries at the same time to be reassured that everyone mainly is going to believe that whatever they're saying is actually happening. They're liars. They control you by fear. So if you're not afraid of the world around you and what's happening, and you're awake and just keep doing your thing, you'll make it. You'll make it through this world. But a lot of people are dying around us. I'm telling you, a lot of people are naive. We're being manipulated, completely manipulated. It's time for the world to wake up. It's time for those of you, the parents that don't talk to your children about religion because, kids just don't want to sit down at the table and talk to you. Time to wake them up, because the same thing's going to happen to them that happened to us. We get into our late 20s and 30s and we start realizing, you get into the 40s and you say, oh my God, the government is corrupt, screwing us over. Then you have kids, and those kids grow up and they wait till 30 or 40 and realize when their parents are gone, oh my God, the government's screwing us over. Talk to yourselves. Talk amongst yourselves. It's important for families to be as close as they can right now. It's important for even enemies and, people that are together. Alliances should be created, to protect yourselves against tyranny, against terrorism, against everything they're pushing at us out there. But I guarantee you, all these diversions that they're throwing in the news is definitely to hide one main thing, and it's the story of the UFOs. Right? There's a whole bunch of countries that are implicated in this, a whole lot of countries, and it's countries that you'd never think America was dealing with. But there are two governments, right? You got the deep state and you got the puppet government. What is a UAP? What is a UFO? A UAP or UFO is any object or objects or even phenomena that cannot be immediately identified or explained by known human-made or natural sources or by anything science-wise. You understand? UAPs have been reported in various forms. I've shown different forms, shapes and forms of them. So they include spheres, discs, triangles, and many other shapes, ranging in size from small orbs to large craft to, I'm even going to add it in there, to smokes and hazes and flickers. Many exhibit flight patterns and maneuvers that defy conventional aerodynamics, such as sudden changes in directions, high speeds, immediate high speeds, right, from 0 to a million, okay, and the ability to hover without any apparent propulsion systems. Last summer, there's a 36-year-old Air Force veteran, David Grush, remember him? We're still waiting for him, caused a media storm after he said that a top-secret U.S. military program had found the wreckage of several fully intact unidentified aerial craft, some of which contained dead non-human pilots. As a matter of fact, now we know that there's a massive UFO, disc-shaped, saucer-shaped craft, I believe, buried in South Korea that is far too large for them to be able to even dig up. Whoa. So they crashed on Earth, or they deliberately buried themselves there? I mean, listen, they want to X-ray the Earth. Why do you think? In about a year, we'll know everything that we know right now in the UFO story is 1% of what the world's going to know 365 days from now, a year to this date. You cannot imagine what we're going to know. And that's going to tell us with confirmation that the story is a lot bigger than we think. So if they're talking to us about having alien bodies and that some aliens were killing humans, you could imagine the story is far greater than what we're hearing in the States. What's going to happen when all the other countries come to the table and talk about what is going on, their involvement in secret projects? Will it cause a war? We're in a war now. This is big. So this is what it comes down to. A 2023 report, as you remember from the Office for the Director of National Intelligence, they found that there were 510 UAP sightings in 2022 alone. That's higher than the 366 that we saw as I look through the data in 2021. And out of all of them, there's 171 that were considered to appear to have demonstrated unusual flight characteristics or performance capabilities and require further analysis. There was no explanation for them. Hypotheses for such phenomena tend to fall into two classes, and it's the same classes that you see here. There's my theorizing about my research, and there's the evidence and proof that we have from science data and whatnot. A conventional terrestrial explanation can be given, human-made technology, or an extraterrestrial explanation, advanced civilization from elsewhere in the cosmos. Harvard researchers wrote this in a paper, and a lot of people said Harvard. Well, yeah, it's about damn time that they are going to talk about the UFOs. They all got caught, guys. All those associations that everyone's bashing on, including me, are going to speak up. Their tails are under their asses now, bending up inwards, up towards their stomach. Heads are going down. They're losing their money. Funding's being cut off for the defense in the States, and they're not going to get a bloody cent to be able to add into their secret projects. They're stealing money from the Americans. They're taking the tax dollars from Americans, and they're throwing that into secret projects. And on top of it, probably projects that are, against humans, to attack us. The CIA is completely corrupt, so being dismantled as we speak. Hopefully they'll be able to keep it up. If not, there's going to be a shitload of agents. So I'd say probably about 100,000 agents plus that are going to be out of a job around the world. So, however, there's also a third minority class of hypothesis, an unconventional terrestrial explanation outside the prevailing consensus view of this universe. This is the ultra-terrestrial hypothesis, which includes as a subset the crypto-terrestrial hypothesis, namely the notion that UAP may reflect activities of intelligent beings concealed in a stealth way here on and or inside and or around Earth, underground, near environ the moon. Okay? Walking among us on top of it, passing off as humans. So, what I've been saying, I'm going to be starting my 9th year of research coming up in August 2024. And I'm telling you all, there is a group of people on the moon. Aliens, humans, I don't know, spirits, angels, whatever you want to call them. We can still see them flying around. For me, the excitement has never been this high because I've been waiting all my entire time working on this to hear one association talk about the moon and relate that to UFOs. It doesn't happen. I'm long over what the astronauts said 40, 50 years ago. There's a UFO on the moon on the side of the crater. That's not impressing me. I showed it. I found it. It's true. And I want to expose it. So if you're new to this channel and you took the time to listen to this podcast, first of all, thank you so very much. This is recent UFO news. This is what's going on. These are the terms that they're talking about. Extravagant or supernatural or not. Some people will, it's over your head. I get it. Even for me, when it comes to the dinosaur and ancient dinosaurs, but we have to delve into this, all of us together, and try to sound it out, try to make sense of it all using real data, common sense, and of course the visual evidence and proof that the moon is inhabited. And I believe more news about it is definitely going to come out. Thanks for listening, everyone.